Okay, let's continue. Any questions? No? Okay. Collateral contracts. I briefly mentioned this already, right? A separate contract collateral to the main contract alongside the main contract. Not a contractual term of the main contract. But this is a separate contract. It doesn't mean that it is part of the main contract. It doesn't mean that it is a contractual term of the main contract, but an agreement that the parties rely upon when entering the main contract. I already gave you the example, right? Collateral contract is the cleaning for this room. The main contract is the maintenance for the whole building, right? I mentioned earlier. Conditions when recognizing a collateral contract, the statement must has been intended to have contractual effect, and contract must be separate from the main contract. Collateral contract must not be inconsistent with the main contract. So it should not be contradictory, right? No contradiction between this collateral contract and the main contract. These are some conditions before we can recognize it as a collateral contract. Okay, then now contractual terms are really the terms of a contract, but then these terms could further categorize into 3 types. And why do we need to classify them? Because the effect of breaking, not complying with each of these would have different effects. That's why we need to be clear about what or which terms are conditions, which terms are warranties, and which terms are innominated terms. So conditions. Statements of facts or promises which form the essential terms. The main parts, the essential terms, are conditions, contract conditions. Now, in practice, people often say, okay, the terms and conditions of a contract, right? It's very common. We commonly mention, say, terms and conditions. But in fact, terms are the main parts of contract, essential parts. And terms are subdivided into 3 types, and one of which is conditions. Okay, not like what we mentioned, terms and conditions. Okay, terms are the umbrella under which we have 3 subcategories. So the first category, conditions, essential terms. The injured party may terminate and claim damages if the statement is not true. Now, if any of the conditions, the statement is not true, or if the promise is not fulfilled, if the conditions is not fulfilled, then the injured party may terminate, treat the contract as discharged, stop, okay, terminate, and claim damages. Remember damages? Monetary compensation, right? As in this case, 1876, a singer failed to take up a role in the opera until a week before the season has started. The singer failed to take up the role, failed to perform. It was held that her promise to perform, as from the first performance, was a condition, which is essential, which is critical, essential term. This breach entitled the management to treat the contract as discharged, as terminated, which is critical. That is a critical, essential contract term. But the contrast is, how about warranties? Some terms, some contract terms concerning less important or subsidiary statements. Less important statements. If broken, the injured party not entitled to terminate the contract. The previous one, entitled to terminate the contract. But if a warranty is not delivered, is not realized, then the injured party could not treat the contract as terminated. But the injured party can sue for damages, can claim compensation, monetary compensation, but still need to go ahead with the remaining part of the contract, could not terminate the contract. Bettini case, as in this case, the singer, also a singer, different from this case. This is also a singer. In this case, the singer was engaged to sing for a whole season and to arrive 6 days in advance to do rehearsals. But he only arrived 3 days in advance instead of 6 days in advance. So the first show didn't take place yet, still just 3 days before the show, right? But the time period for doing rehearsals was reduced from 6 days to 3 days, right? It was held that the rehearsal clause was subsidiary to the main clause. It was only a warranty. Now, this warranty is different from, say, you buy a smartphone, you got warranty, right? It's different, okay? You buy a washing machine, you got a warranty card, right? That is warranty card. It is not different from this warranty here. This warranty here is a kind of contractual term. It's terminology, okay? Warranty, okay, is a kind of contractual term. This kind of contractual term, warranty, less important or subsidiary statements. In this case, is the time period for rehearsal. Less important, right? What is more important? More important is to perform the show, to sing, right, on the first day. Rehearsal period is not that important comparatively, okay? That's why this is a warranty. So the management was therefore not entitled to treat the contract as discharge, but the management can seek damages, okay? Sought damages for the 3 days delay. Could not terminate the contract, okay? The final type, innominate or intermediate term. This one, the third type of contract term. Traditionally, where a contract term, whether a contract term is a condition or warranty is determined at the time of making the contract, at the beginning, when the contract is formed. But in reality, the effect of a breach of the term often realized after the breach. That means at the beginning of the contract, you didn't know the effect of breaching a particular term. And that particular term is a kind of what we call innominate or intermediate term. Only when the effect of breaching that term would only be realized when that term is breached during the contract period, not at the beginning. So this is innominate or intermediate. So you may refer to this Hong Kong fur shipping case for more details, suggested that it was not enough to classify terms into just conditions and warranties. Consideration should be given to the character and nature of the breach to determine whether that term is innominate or intermediate. So basically, simply speaking, these conditions are essential contract terms. Warranties are subsidiary, not very important compared to conditions. Innominate terms are those terms that the effect of breaching them, not complying with these terms, the effect could not be determined at the beginning of the contract, could only be determined when such terms are breached during the contract. Okay, that's why we have the third type. This is the Hong Kong fur case, as I mentioned. Hong Kong fur case. The defendants chartered the vessel to the plaintiff for 24 months, 2 years. The charter party provided that ship, that is a ship, fitted in every way for ordinary cargo service. The vessel spent less than 9 weeks of the first 7 months at sea, was used initially, because of breakdowns and consequent repairs, it could not be used anymore. So it was held that the term was neither a condition nor a warranty. In determining whether the defendants could determine the contract, it was necessary to look at the consequences of the breach. That is why we have that case leading to the third type of contract terms in nominate terms. The effect was not known at the beginning, but the effect becomes to be known when the consequence appear. So see if it is substantially deprived of the contractual right of the innocent party. Okay, so you may download such a copy, a copy of this case, and read for the details. Okay, in fact, the references and further readings are essentially more or less same as those for the previous set of slides. I explained them already to you, right? So if you want to know more details, right, you can refer to these references. The points, the main points, I've already tried my best to extract the key points and explain them, include them in this set of PowerPoint slides for you. So, and to further enhance your understanding, now it's time for me to explain to you what you need to do for the seminar project. From time to time, over the past 2 lectures, I refer or cited some precedents, past cases to you, right? Now is your time for you to read some cases. So for a seminar project, some of you have already formed your groups and send me email and send me the email. Right? For those who have not yet done so, please do so, okay? For seminar projects, I selected 6 cases. And these 6 cases have been uploaded to Blackboard. These are the 6 cases. For example, case A, JSO Camp and Guardian Property Management Limited. Okay. Anyone's working for Guardian? Some, maybe. I don't know. Okay. I haven't checked. In the past, there were some students working for this company. Okay. Okay, this is a case. Okay. Yeah, Hong Kong Commercial Center. So what you need to do, based on one, right? Don't be scared. You just need to work on one case, right? One group, each group has to work on one case only. I will assign you the case later. Okay, after finalizing the group list, I will let you know which case you need to work on. Okay, then each group work on the assigned case. You have to prepare a PowerPoint file covering the following things. Covering what? From the case, you should be able to identify the background and facts, arguments put forward by the parties. As I said, a relationship diagram, right? Relationship diagram you need to draw. And also a diagram showing the sequence of events. Key points of any ordinances or precedents cited. Principles considered. Liabilities of the parties. Of the failed party especially. Number 8, necessary changes in facts if an opposite ruling were held for the case. Say if the case, it was held that party A failed. Now, if you can change the facts, what facts need to be changed to hold that party B failed? Okay, this is something I would like to see from your file. Explain the principles and cite precedents. Preferably the local ones, local cases, to support the opposite ruling. In addition, you need to prepare a case summary form. That is a case summary form. Quite simple. Case title. Facts, you know, from my slides, from time to time, you note some slides are for the facts in point form. And the decisions, the judgment held, right? So you can follow my format and do something similar. Okay, each group has to submit a PowerPoint file with these requirements. Better to have to include illustration, graphics, figures, or even animations. Explanations for the slides in the space for notes. References should be properly cited. PowerPoint file to be submitted to the Blackboard. And the file format should follow this. Say if you are group 1 working on case A, say the date in which the month, say it is in March 2017. Now it's maybe February, March, or April 2026, right? And also the case summary form. So it's important that no plagiarism is allowed, okay? Due date, 23rd March, noontime. All groups, okay? And then each group has to deliver a presentation. 15 minutes, 5 minutes Q&A. Okay? Assessment will be based on the presentation and also the file. Okay? Good. So I will let you know which group will be working on which case very soon after receiving all your grouping. Okay? Any questions? Okay, if no, then the same grouping, say if you are in the same group, you work on this seminar project, but you will also work on the in-class activity. The work in-class activity that is what you are going to do now as a start. You can regard it as a warm-up exercise. Task, what to do? Visit the legal information website, like this one. This one, I showed you this one earlier, right? Search law reports using keywords. These are just some examples. You have learned, say, executed, consideration, maybe promissory estoppel, right? Maybe or innominate terms, right? You have just learned whatever terms, right? Legal terms. Or say you will learn tort law very soon. Last time I also showed you a video about negligence. Remember that? Contributory negligence, maybe, okay? So either contract cases or tort cases, right? As long as your law reports are about contract or tort, they are acceptable, right? You can use other keywords, not only this, okay? You can use offer, acceptance, intention, whatever, okay? And then select a law report. There are some conditions governing the law reports that you are going to search. It should be preferably in the context of facility management. This subject is legal aspects of facility management, right? So I do not expect you to send me a file which is about marriage, divorce, right? That sort of thing, right? Okay, but about facility management, and should not be too old. year 2000 to now. Well, already a long period. 2000 now, today is 2026, right? Length 3,000 to 9,000 words is a wide range. Your report, the case could be 4,000 words, 5,000 words, 6,000 words, doesn't matter. Within this range. Not too short, not too long. Okay? And you need to highlight 5 key points from the law report. Say, for example, issues in disputes, legal principle applied. And then write a short paragraph, a summary, just 40 words, within 40 words, summarizing 1 key point of the case. So the format. Just fill in this form, 1 group, 1 form only. Okay? So students in the group number, case title, the hyperlink of the law report, length of the law report in words, in number of pages. Is it contract law or tort law? Summary of 1 point, maximum 40 words. That's it. Right? But the difficulty is, I believe, you need to spend some time to really find a report that satisfies these conditions. Length. Okay? Not too long, not too short. About facility management. Contract or tort. Okay? And the cases, not to repeat this. Not to repeat. Don't submit a case that is one of these cases. Some other cases. Okay, if you find, oh, Wong Kee and Wong Tong Sing and others, then sorry, you have to find another one. Okay? So not to repeat these cases. Today, January 26th, do some trial searches. So now you can start working with your group members to do some wow searches. Okay? Then, well, maybe tonight, if you're lucky, you can quickly identify a law report. If you're not lucky, still you have time. Maybe next time you come, I will also allow you some time to refine your searches. And then if you're still unlucky, then you have to do it using other time slot, right? Say, but before your submission day, February 23rd. So that means tonight, next time, and also on the 9th, I will allow you around 20 to 30 minutes. Like now, you can work with your group members to do these things. Right, then finally complete and submit the form, submit your selected law report with 5 points highlighted. Okay. And the file format, deadline. Now this will contribute to 5%. Not a big amount, right? But just 5% is a kind of initiation, right, of your subject mark. Okay. No plagiarism is allowed. Okay. Now then some students may ask, what if I am group 1, the other students are in group 2, we found the same case, right? Then which group will submit first? First come, first serve, okay? Okay? But remember, you should try your best to find those cases complying with these conditions. Now, it's not that easy. You can try. Okay? So, and it may not be the case that you will repeat your case with your neighbors because you may be using different keywords to search. Some may be about consideration and other may be about acknowledged term, right? Then that may lead to different cases. Okay. And some others may be about negligence. Okay. Understand? Okay, and one more bonus. Now, if from your submissions, I find that, say, one of the cases you search is really good, okay? I would say, may consider, may plus consider, okay? Take it as the basis for setting one of the exam questions. May, okay? May, not a must, okay? If there's no good case from you, I may, okay, set an exam question based on another case, or even without basing on any case. Okay. Now, in the past, if you look at those past exam questions, you will find that usually I will set, say, an exam question based on the law report. Okay. But may or may not be based on the report submitted by the students. But if you can find a good case, right, that would help you. Okay. Try your best. Okay. In any case, if an exam question is really set based on the law report, I would let you know. Say, for example, usually I let students read 3 reports, 3 law reports, select 3 reports before the exam, and then ask students to read those 3 reports. And then my question will be among these 3 reports. Right? That is my practice in the past. For the coming year, for the coming exam, I haven't set my questions yet. Right? So your performance may also affect the exam questions. Okay? And your performance will depend on your efforts. Now, right? Tonight, and you have some more time before the deadline. Okay, you can start working with your group mates, and I will walk around and see if you have any questions. Okay. I can do a simple demonstration for you. Like, say, if you search using the keyword negligence, right? You can put in negligence and then search. Then if there is no result, you may use another term like, okay, Okay, if you use contributory negligence, it may show you quite large number of cases, right? So different pages, many more. But look at here, you can sometimes by looking at the title may give you some hints. Okay, say, oh, if it is about management company, or you suspect that this is about the link management company and also this party. Then you have to click it. Sometimes the judgment does not exist, but just the case title. Then you have to try again. Okay, maybe and sometimes you also have, you know the name. Okay, assuming you know the name, okay. Maybe leave company, okay. Otis. Otis, say if you want to find any case about involving this company, there's a case, then you click it, then you find the judgment, and then on the left-hand side to have a Word, Microsoft Word file, you click this one, then you have the law report. Then by looking at it, say whether it's too long or too short, you have to check the number of pages and number of words here. Okay, I think similarly, you can search other reports. All right, try to do it on your own.